My video for December the 30th, 2018 is video number 2950. The title is The Cabal versus Brics Stage Show. The Brics nations, for those who may not know what the acronym means, are Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Supposedly, these and several other nations around the world stand in opposition to the international cabal of mercenary criminals who have been instigating wars around the world for a very long time, especially in our recent history. Most who watch my videos probably already know that I think Russia, and more specifically Putin, is perhaps the only sane player on the global stage show we are witnessing. Yes, that includes the enigma we know as the Trump card. So what is the cabal? Put simply, the cabal is the network of evil money brokers that have created crimes against humanity, causing unrest and outright violence. They take down, or at least instigate, uprisings in the nation states that oppose their plan for a global new world order run by this criminal syndicate. Yes, they finance both sides. They are liars, demons who lust for total control of humanity. It is spiritual warfare, fallen angels claiming to be God. They are also psychopathic child molesters who prey upon the weakest and most vulnerable. Will the loving God, if such a one actually exists, take action and at least level the playing field? I certainly hope so. You know, as I read that again, of course I wrote it, so not too long ago, but as I read it out loud for this video, I talk about leveling the playing field. I mean, it's been tilted for so long in favor of the dark agenda that leveling the playing field would require taking out the dark players completely, which is what I hope Guantanamo is all about. There's apparently more prison ships, cargo ships going into Cuba. Guantanamo Bay is in Cuba to house all of the several thousand individuals that are named in the sealed, so-called sealed indictments that we've heard a lot about. And of course, I've been rooting for the Brics nations for a long time, but Venezuela was one of the states that was standing up to the cabal, and its economy is totally in a state of collapse. The rate of inflation is 1,000,000%. I mean, it's inconceivable. Their money is worthless. So people in Venezuela are flooding into Brazil, and the Brazilian people are tearing down their temporary makeshift shelters and, you know, just totally standing up against it. We're watching uprisings in France. We're going to see it all over the world, probably. But I mean, I keep scratching my head and wondering, where is the loving God? Where are the good angels that are supposed to be helping humanity? Where is the empowerment of humanity? You know, I'd like to see people wake up. But so much of the information that we get comes from the same people that are causing all the confusion. And so how can you expect to find truth amongst all the flagrant chatter that goes on, the deceitful chatter, I should say? It's flagrant violation of truth and of human rights and of everything that's decent and good and desirable. But what they desire is very different than what most of us desire. Again, they desire to dominate us. And as I've said in other videos, how I missed this and reading the Bible over and over again about the jealous God visiting the iniquities of the fathers unto the children of the third and fourth generation. In other words, it continues to steamroll so that every generation poisons the generations that come after, so that they're worse than, they keep getting worse, not better. This is something that is chain. This cycle has to be broken somehow. Somehow there has to be divine retribution and correction. But I don't even know for anymore if there is a loving God. I mean, if I was the loving God, I would not have allowed it to progress to this point. I mean, what's the purpose? What's the purpose? I'd like to see the Bushes and the Clintons and the Obamas and all of this dark cabal taken down. I'd like to see them taken out of commission and pay the penalty for their crimes against humanity. I mean, my God, these people kill children, as I said in the blurb, and as I've said in many videos. They are not just child molesters, but they are murderers of child. They take the very life force out of the children. They get them in a state of panic when their adrenaline is rushing, because they get a rush out of drinking their blood. And the whole communion thing of drinking blood and of requiring blood is insane. Who planted these lies? Who put them into human consciousness? And when did it happen? Some say it's a much more recent development than what we think. It's not thousands and thousands of years as we've been told, but it might only be at the most a few hundred years, less than a century. I mean, less than a millennium. Folks, what's it going to take for our Creator to empower those of us in creation who can see through the scam, at least to some degree, and are willing to take a stand, to make a difference, to help those that have been so put down? I'd like to see the Venezuelan people liberated. I'd like to see the Cubans liberated. Many of the Cubans fled to the United States, and to survive, they become criminals. It's not because they're criminal in nature, it's because they're trying to survive. And survival has become an economic factor. It's not just a factor of, it's not a factor of just natural things. It's an unnatural thing that has been superimposed upon us so that we don't remember who we are. We don't remember the talents, gifts, and abilities that were given to us in the beginning, because they have virtually been put to sleep. A virtual annihilation even of our true nature to love one another. It's not natural to kill others. It's not natural. That is an unnatural thing. That is a perversion. And I don't care how much they say that primitive man was naturally that way. That's just simply not true. We've been lied to again. Folks, we've been told extreme lies. And some of the things that happened as recently as the latter part of the 19th century. If some of the things that people are sending me have any relevance and any truth in them, I pray that our Creator, believing that there is one, will finally stop making excuses and take a stand for truth and justice. Thank you for listening. Namaste.